Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to go over a topic that was requested a couple times in the comment section. Something that I notice in patterns about men who are married in, couples therapy. A lot of individuals who come to couples therapy, they're either married or in a long-term relationship. And who are these men? Who are the traits? Like, what is the attributes that a man has that makes a woman want to commit? And if you are that type of guy. So we're going to talk about the signs that you're the type of man that women want to commit to based on the things that I've seen. This is more speculative. It's based on my caseload and my experience as a therapist, but I feel like it can help somebody. And the first one, I feel, this one does have research, by the way, but in general, the first one is any man who is able to regulate his emotions. If you are a guy who's able to regulate your emotions while still not shutting down entirely, it seems that this is a type of man that women really are attracted to and get married to. Interesting enough, this is also the type of man that women expect more out of, which can be kind of tricky because I think this is where some people get a little mixed up, okay? There are some women who are mentally unstable and have a lot of trauma, and they tend to continuously go to men who are incredibly emotionally unavailable, right? And that is because she's mentally struggling with a lot of things and a lot of trauma. And so I'm not really talking about women like that, but even women like that, they still want their partner to regulate his emotions while not without shutting her away completely, but he's still regulated, meaning that he's not yelling or detached or whatever it is. And what ends up happening is eventually, if he doesn't have this characteristic, those women who are a little bit more unhealthy, they leave men who are not able to change. And the pattern is interesting because in your mind, you think, why did you date somebody who didn't have that trait already? That's part of her trauma. So in general, mentally stable women tend to commit to men who are regulated and are able to articulate their emotions without shutting her off completely. And women who are unstable, the pattern that I've seen, she might be attracted to a really emotionally unavailable guy, but she's gonna basically try and change him the whole entire time. So the marriage is gonna be really unstable anyways. So both of these women, stable and unstable, they both have one common characteristic when it comes to this particular aspect, is they desire a man who is emotionally regulated and able to articulate his feelings. That's what I got out of it, but I wanted to clear the air because some people get confused. Why do some women chase emotionally unavailable men? She has trauma, but she's still going to try and make him emotionally unavailable. That doesn't make a lot of sense logically, but it's because she's traumatized. The next one I noticed is women tend to be committed to men who take risks at times. Interesting enough, even risks for their family. I'm going to give a small example. It might not fit everybody, but considering we just got off the holidays, stuff like this was showing up a lot. Let's say, for example, he wants to take a risk. He wants to do something for New Year's, even though they didn't have it planned. And he books this trip for his family and he gets like a hotel room with his wife, and it's big enough for also their two kids. And so that was his plan. Even though it was last minute, he didn't really ask her about the financial situation, but for some reason, even though she's upset that he spent that money without asking, she's still happy that he took that risk so that they can get this trip. Because maybe if he took time to wait for her to answer, let's say she has a shift and maybe it's a long shift. Maybe she works 12 hours. Maybe she's a nurse, whatever it is. He can't wait for her to take that response because they might not get the deal he wants for this room or for this trip, whatever it is. So he took that risk for his family. She's still going to be upset, I think. Some of them might be. But at the end of the day, she's still really happy. And those types of memories she'll remember for the length of their marriage. And I notice these types of things, even risks like financial risks, even if it doesn't always pan out, women like to know what I've noticed, that she can trust him and that he can lead their family to something secure and safe, and that she's able to not worry so much. I think modern women nowadays like to present themselves as someone who can work and I'm not judging anybody, who can, do it all, like a jack of all trades, so to speak. But I don't think that women, at least, I don't think they actually want that, or maybe they do, but I don't think they want it as much as they think they do. They just think they have to, maybe because they were hurt, they were traumatized. But I notice most of the time, women who are married, they really like being able to just not have to worry about those things and let him handle it. And I think that's where the risk comes from. Very similar, the next point is I notice a lot of the men, if you're a guy like this, you probably know, if your wife, girlfriend, or girls that you've had in the past, they like that you take initiative. Really, really common in therapy. This one comes up so often. It's actually interesting because so we have like I have a Psychology Today page, and you can like click to, like there's like a little place where you can email me, hey, I'm looking if you have an availability, whatever it is. And often the husband reaches out to my Psychology Today page, but then when I meet them on their intake, usually it's like the wife pushed him to contact me. So it's like she wanted him to take initiative, but he wasn't gonna, because he's like, I don't want to work on this. Or, a lot of men are resistant to therapy, which is okay, right? And so many are getting so much better, by the way. So good on, everybody. You guys are doing great. But she wanted to see him take initiative, because in her mind, she thinks, okay, if he reached out, if he picked a therapist that he thought was best for our marriage, whatever it is, based on my specializations, I specialize in anger, so that's typically where it's coming from. Then it proves that he cares about the marriage and he loves me. That's what she's thinking typically. And that's what she shares in session a lot of the times. I want to see that he's committed to saving our marriage. And initiative in general is incredibly common. Women just like that. It's probably something they're always going to like. And I think that's very important. The fourth one may be more specific to things I see in therapy, but that's kind of the point of this video. If you hold her accountable. I know a lot of women say they don't want a man like that, and they want a man, what's that word, like a golden retriever or something? I don't know the social media terms, because I may have just like not got that right. But basically, a lot of women actually, what I notice is they do like when their husband holds them accountable. It doesn't mean that he's abusing her or hurting her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if he says, hey, you told me that you would not text me when I'm at my buddy's house, yet you sent me like 5 text messages. I didn't appreciate that. I know you're anxious. I know you're worried, but I told you I'll text you when I'm on the way home. Nothing happened. I'm just hanging out. It's a little bit late, but I promise I'll text you. Go to bed. I'll text you, and then you'll see me in the morning when you wake up. Right? He's trying to say, you said that you wouldn't do that. What's the issue? You promised, and yet you broke your promise. Holding her accountable in that regard really helps her, first of all, to work on herself. Second, she begins to respect him and continue to respect him. The fifth one is holding himself accountable. I noticed that women who are very satisfied in their marriages and relationships, they really like men who are, which a lot of you guys are, you hold integrity, you hold her to a similar standard you hold yourself, meaning you're not just going to hold her accountable, but you're going to mistreat her. You're not going to hold yourself accountable. No, if you want a marriage and you want to, have a healthy family, you hold yourself accountable, you hold your children accountable, and you hold your wife accountable. And so you do hold yourself accountable. That's something that a lot of you guys probably do. The next one is you tell her what you need in the relationship or marriage as well. I notice this a lot. A lot of these men, I'm thinking of so many couples that I have right now where they will say, sometimes I feel like, you get mad at me that I'm busy or I'm doing things outside of the house because you don't have enough hobbies yourself. And he's not saying, hey, go out and work. That's not what he's saying. He's saying you can do something at home. I'm not telling you have to go out and work, but join a book club, pick up knitting, practice baking, whatever. It doesn't have to be something huge, but he's saying like, you're upset that I'm busy. Let's say he's a firefighter. He's doing these long shifts. And then he comes home and she picks a fight with him. And he's like, I think a part of it is you need some hobbies outside of just, our family. It doesn't mean that he's not grateful. But the reason he's saying that is because he needs that time where after he comes home from a really long day, helping and, supporting his family, that sometimes he doesn't want to hear about her being upset or whatever it is. He's sacrificing a lot for her. He wants to, but he's going to mention, hey, I need that time, just a little bit. Then we can talk and do whatever you need to do, but I need a little bit of time to myself. A lot of men bring this up. At least the men that I work with could be completely different compared to you guys because every person is different. But anything that you need in the marriage, hey, I need you to tell me what's bothering you. Don't tell me things are okay when clearly you're still mad at me. Don't do that, right? He's going to get confused, but I notice that women really like when men do that. And the last one I think is really important. What I've noticed is a lot of these men who are married, who have pretty long relationships and are overall happy is they have like a small, specific, but unwavering list of deal breakers that they won't bend for anybody. Examples being cheating and abuse. It's okay if maybe she's a little messy. He still wants that to be fixed, but he's not going to have a whole list. She has to be really clean. She has to want 5 kids. She has to have long blonde hair. He can have those as a, hopefully, maybe he wants that for his family. That's great, but that's not necessarily a deal breaker where one day maybe his wife, maybe she did have long blonde hair, but then she cut it a little bit because it was hard to have long hair while raising the kids. He's not going to subtly break up with her. He might hope that one day she can, when kids are out of the house, she can focus on herself a little bit more. He can hope, she can hope, whatever it is, but it's not a deal breaker. But the deal breakers are things that if she steps out of the relationship, doesn't matter what, he's leaving. If she tries to hit him or yell at him a certain way, raises her voice, he's gonna, leave that relationship. Those are things that I notice. Pretty strong, specific deal breakers. It's not like a huge list, because the reason why a huge list can be difficult is because you either end up struggling to get married because your list is so specific and it's hard for someone to fit that, or you have such a long list that you end up bending over all of these things that you want, including some of the things that probably you shouldn't adjust for anybody. So I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.